In Genesis 26, Isaac's life begins to take center stage in the biblical narrative. After Abraham's death, Isaac, now the new patriarch of the promised lineage, faces challenges that test his faith and patience. A severe famine strikes the land, and Isaac must make an important decision: follow the example of his father Abraham and go down to Egypt in search of food, or listen to the voice of God. God instructs him to remain in the land of Gerar, territory of the Philistines, promising him the same blessing that had been given to Abraham, that his descendants would be numerous and that the promised land would be his. Isaac, in obedience, decides to remain, but soon faces a new problem. Afraid of being killed by the men of Gerar, Isaac lies and says that Rebekah, his wife, is his sister. This strategy of Isaac's is a reflection of the same attitude that Abraham took when protecting himself in Egypt. However, the Philistine king, Abimelech, discovers the truth when he observes Isaac and Rebekah interacting affectionately. Although Abimelech could punish Isaac, he chooses to protect him, ordering that no one should harm Isaac or his wife. As time passes, Isaac prospers in Gerar, becoming extremely wealthy. He has large herds, servants, and lands, which arouse the envy of the Philistines. As a result, the Philistines begin to fill in the wells that Abraham had dug, an action that hurts Isaac. To avoid conflict, Isaac moves several times, digging new wells and facing constant opposition until he finds a place where he can live in peace. The narrative ends with Abimelech acknowledging God's blessing on Isaac and making a covenant of peace with him, ensuring that future generations will live in peace. Stay with us until the end for an inspiring message that can change your life. Biblical insight. Genesis 26 highlights a number of profound spiritual themes that resonate throughout Isaac's life. First, God's promise that the promised land would be his is reaffirmed. God repeats the covenant made with Abraham, now directly with Isaac, showing that the Lord's promises span generations and are fulfilled regardless of the challenges faced. The chapter also addresses the theme of trusting God during times of trial. The famine that drove Isaac to Gerar could have driven him to Egypt, as had happened to his father, but Isaac's obedience in following God's instruction ensured that he remained in God's designated place. Another important theme is human weakness. Isaac's lie to Rebekah reflects the propensity of men to take desperate measures in times of fear, but the chapter also shows God's protection even when we fail to act with integrity. Isaac's prosperity despite challenges reinforces the idea that God's blessing is not hindered by external circumstances. Their willingness to avoid conflict, moving from place to place rather than fighting over territory, demonstrates a spirit of patience and humility, qualities that echo the teaching that the meek shall inherit the land. Finally, the peace pact between Isaac and Abimelech reminds us of the importance of seeking reconciliation and understanding, even among those who might be considered enemies. Archaeological context. The narrative of Genesis 26 takes place primarily in Gerar, a Philistine-controlled region in southwestern Canaan. The city of Gerar, described in the chapter, was an important urban center on the route between Canaan and Egypt. Archaeological excavations in the Tel Hera region, associated with Gerar, have revealed that this area was inhabited by an advanced civilization, with evidence of fortifications and an active commercial life. The presence of the Philistines, a people of Aegean origin, highlights the cultural and political interactions between the nomadic Hebrews and the settled peoples of the cities. The Philistines had a distinct culture, with significant ancient Greek influence, evident in their artifacts and military practices, including the use of iron in the making of weapons and tools. The practice of digging wells, which is a recurring theme in the chapter, reflects the importance of water in an arid land like Canaan. Disputes over wells were common, as access to water was crucial to the survival of both nomadic and sedentary tribes. Beersheba, where Isaac eventually settles, was an oasis city located on an important trade and herding route. At the end of the chapter, the mention of alliances between Isaac and Abimelech reflects the diplomatic practices of the time, where leaders made pacts to ensure peace and cooperation between different peoples. Biblical studies. Genesis 26 is a chapter that has attracted the attention of scholars for its theological and narrative layers. One of the main focuses of analysis is the repetition of life patterns between Abraham and Isaac. Both patriarchs faced famine, both lied about their wives for fear of being killed, and both had conflicts with the Philistines. This repetition is not coincidental. On the contrary, many scholars believe that it serves to demonstrate the continuity of God's covenant with Abraham's lineage. God is showing Isaac that, just as he was faithful to his father, he will be faithful to him. Isaac's lie about Rebekah is also the subject of study. While many condemn Isaac's attitude, other theologians interpret the action as a manifestation of human fear and the need for control, something that is contrasted by divine protection and provision. The chapter has also been used to highlight the importance of avoiding unnecessary conflict. Rather than fight over the blocked wells, Isaac chooses to dig new ones, demonstrating a peaceful approach that is often praised as an example of meekness and trust in God. The peace pact between Abimelech and Isaac is seen as a prefiguration of the need for reconciliation and cooperation between different peoples, something that will be essential in the future histories of Israel and its neighbors. Ultimately, scholars see Genesis 26 as a testament to God's faithful character and the need for patience and obedience in the lives of those who follow him. Archaeological discoveries. Archaeological discoveries associated with the context of Genesis 26 provide a solid foundation for better understanding the life and challenges Isaac faced. Excavations at sites such as Tel Harar, possibly ancient Gerar, have revealed that the city was a major city-state controlled by the Philistines. Philistine material culture, including pottery and architecture, highlights their Aegean origins and contrasts with the nomadic Hebrew tribes. However, more than just a scenario of tension, the relationship between the Hebrews and the Philistines was also one of interdependence, especially in times of famine and drought, which can be seen in Isaac's decision to settle among them. Another significant archaeological find is the system of wells and cisterns, especially in areas around Beersheba. These wells were vital for survival in the desert and semi-arid regions and, at the same time, a symbol of possession and power. The discovery of complex water collection systems reinforces the narrative that access to water was a central issue in the lives of the patriarchs. Ancient inscriptions and records also mention pacts between kings and tribal leaders, such as the pact between Isaac and Abimelech, confirming that such alliances were common and fundamental to avoid war and ensure peaceful coexistence. Over the years, archaeological discoveries have validated many of the practices described in the Bible, offering a tangible glimpse into the world in which Isaac lived. Connecting the past to the present. The story of Isaac in Genesis 26 has a connecting power that transcends the centuries, offering valuable lessons for today. Disputes over natural resources, such as water, continue to be a relevant issue in the modern world, especially in the Middle East, where access to water sources is often a point of conflict. Just as Isaac faced opposition when digging wells, today we see nations fighting over access to rivers, lakes, and other sources of fresh water. Isaac's patience and wisdom in not dwelling on territorial conflicts, choosing to seek new wells rather than fight over old ones, can be seen as an example of how to resolve disputes through dialogue and the search for new solutions. The peace pact between Isaac and Abimelech also reminds us of the importance of diplomatic agreements in times of tension, a lesson that remains vital for modern nations. On a spiritual level, Isaac's story is a reminder that God continues to bless those who are faithful and obedient, even in times of difficulty. That Isaac prospered in the midst of adversity is a testament to the power of God's promise, a message that many believers still find comfort in today. In a world where borders, resources, and alliances continue to shape the destiny of nations, the story of Genesis 26 continues to resonate with relevance and purpose. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And remember, every day is a new opportunity to call on the name of the Lord. Until next time.